Tonight, students run for a sweet cause.
Plus, learn how you can give back this holiday season. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Nightly News for December 3rd, 2012. I'm Judson Garner.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. The holiday season is fast approaching, but not as fast as some area runners were approaching the holiday. This weekend, a number of runners strapped on their running shoes for a holiday-themed run. Morgan Paulson has the story.
9 o'clock on Saturday morning, several runners awaited the first ever KHP Christmas Cookie Run. The race was to raise awareness and money for juvenile diabetes. Children and adults were encouraged to attend, and most of the runners dressed up in costumes just for fun.
Throughout the school, so we're going down through Trojan Dining, and then we're passing the library, and then we go to the ponds, to the roundabout, and then we go by the soccer field, and then come up past the stadium, and then through the school again.
The entry fee to run was $20, which included a t-shirt. There were numerous prizes for the participants.
It was a good experience getting involved in campus life, and the KHP Club, these guys.
The race started quickly, with some of the younger participants jumping into the lead. With 2 miles ahead of them, the runners seemed eager to make it to the finish. The 1 mile marker was a cookie station filled with sugar-free cookies to support those with diabetes and water. This is the halfway point for the Christmas cookie run, and here at this table, the runners eat as many cookies as they can, and each cookie deducts 15 seconds off the runner's time. Coming in first place for the KHP Christmas Cookie Run was Leanne Higgins. The other participants soon followed, and all were happy to reach their destination.
It was nice. It was beautiful outside. There was a lot of people cheering us on, people waving, but it was a nice little race. It was a perfect day for the race.
After the race, everyone enjoyed more cookies. Morgan Paulson, TrojanVision News.
Saturday's run raised money for both the KHP Club and the Juvenile Diabetes Fund.
It's the start of December and most people have already began counting down the days until Christmas, and one Troy organization is making sure that residents in Pike County stay warm during the holiday season. Troy University Student Alabama Education Association is continuing a Christmas project started in November aimed at keeping residents of Pike County warm during the winter. SAEA's co-president encourages all Troy students, faculty, and staff to donate coats and other warm clothing to the coat drive for Christmas.
Doing food drives, and we just thought with the cold weather coming, we just really want to make sure we can provide that necessity for children in the area. Scarves, coats, gloves, blankets, anything you might have that is in good condition but you're not using anymore. We're going to service the needs of our elementary students all the way through high school, so any size range will be acceptable for coats.
You can drop off coats and other items at the SGA office, room 215, or Hawkins Hall, room 302. For more information on the Coats for Christmas drive, you can contact Dr. Manick at csmanick@troy.edu. Well, Bailey, Troy University offers students many types of degrees.
That's right. Judson and Rachel Scarborough sat down with the teacher who created the leadership program.
Leadership is defined as the position or function of a leader, and the creator of the leadership minor here at Troy University says that everyone has a bit of a leader in themselves.
We've offered the minor since 2008. There were a couple of courses before that, but I saw a real need for the minor, so we started it.
So what does the minor teach besides leadership skills?
It teaches the importance of followership, and quite frankly, a lot of the skills we teach are life skills that are going to help you in anything.
Troy University is the only university in Alabama to offer a leadership minor, and Klein says people take notice to that.
There are some other leadership programs, but not a program like we have where you have several courses that lead to a minor. In fact, in many ways, we've become the envy of other universities.
Leaders can be found all around Troy's campus any day, and Klein credits the students pursuing a leadership minor because they are also teaching leadership to others.
I think it's no matter whether you're doing things like an SGA or whether you're doing things in Circle K or with your church, your religious organizations, whatever it is, we're sort of scattered throughout. And I think our leadership minors stand out in a lot of ways.
Dr. Klein says at this year's annual Excellence in Leadership Conference held by the Freshman Forum, the members of Freshman Forum were able to teach high school seniors the importance of leadership.
We need more good leaders in our country, and we need more good followers, and we need people that will step up to the plate and lead. So we hope that that conference, let them know if they come to Troy University, they've got an opportunity to learn a lot more about leadership.
Rachel Scarborough, Troy, TrojanVision News.
If you would like more information about the leadership minor, you can contact Dr. Klein in the leadership department located in Smith Hall.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, the 16 Theater Rave Festival Plaza is being sold. Kansas-based AMC Theaters has entered into an agreement to buy Central Alabama's biggest and most popular theater.
And in Northport, the town plans to overhaul its police communication system in the next 2 years at an estimated cost of about $1.5 million. Northport's communication system has had a hard time keeping up as the city limits have grown.
And also in Montgomery, 3 people are vying to replace Jerry Newby as president of the Alabama Farmers Federation. The candidates are State Representative Richard Lindsay of Center, Jimmy Parnell of Maplesville, and Ricky Wiggins of Covington County.
And still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, the basketball teams played their first conference game in the Trojan Arena over the weekend. Danielle Percival will be in with a look at those games when she joins us next in sports.
But first, Republicans and Democrats are still far apart on the agreement to avoid a fiscal crisis. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Republican lawmakers send the White House a counteroffer on the fiscal cliff. I'm Danielle Nottingham in Washington. I'll have the latest coming up.
Welcome home, man.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Judson Garner at the Global News Desk. Judson.
Thanks, Bailey. After saying fiscal cliff talks were nowhere, Republicans have delivered a counter-proposal to the White House. Taxes are still the main sticking point. The president wants to cut taxes to expire for the wealthiest Americans. Republicans insist they must be extended. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from Washington.
Working to win public support for his tax and spending proposals, President Obama answered fiscal cliff questions on Twitter Monday. One Twitter follower asked, why won't keeping tax rates low across the board encourage more hires and therefore more tax revenue? The president replied, high-end tax cuts would cost almost $1 trillion, while extending middle-class cuts will boost growth. If the White House and Republicans don't find compromise, everyone's taxes will go up and spending will be slashed, including massive cuts to the defense budget. Defense contractors gathered in Washington Monday to discuss the consequences. David Langstaff is CEO of Task, a company that develops aviation systems and software for intelligence agencies.
But I think it's very bad for national security because companies cannot plan.
Republicans sent the president a counter-proposal Monday afternoon. It includes more than $2 trillion in budget savings, but extends tax cuts for all Americans.
Thus far, Republican leaders have been adamant that they don't believe rates ought to go up on the top 2% wealthiest Americans. Well, the American people overwhelmingly disagree.
In addition to using social media, the president has been hosting a series of White House meetings to press his case. Tuesday, he welcomes governors from both sides of the aisle. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
A new study shows an increasing number of children are undergoing CT scans, MRIs, and other diagnostic imaging procedures, including ones that carry a potential cancer risk. Vanita Nair reports from New York.
Let's check you out, okay?
Grace Hickson's great-grandson, Andre, had his first x-ray when he was just 1.5 years old.
He couldn't breathe, and I took him to another doctor, took x-ray, and that's when they told me he had pneumonia.
A new study in the journal Pediatrics finds the number of children who have undergone diagnostic imaging scans, including x-rays, MRIs, CT scans, and ultrasounds, has increased significantly over the past 9 years. Higher radiation procedures like CT scans rose 34% during the study. The findings raise concern because other studies have linked radiation exposure to increased risk of cancer.
Children are all growing, so their cells are rapidly replicating, and so that means they're more at risk for radiation than an adult.
Imaging procedures with higher levels of radiation were most typically performed at the hospital or in emergency room settings. Researchers didn't determine how much of the imaging was truly necessary. Health experts say parents should question their child's doctor before agreeing to any scan.
Ask them, well, how much radiation does that involve? And is the test really necessary?
Hickson says she was aware of the radiation risk but felt the test needed to be done.
Unfortunately, a lot of times children have to have x-ray to find out exactly what's wrong.
She says she tries to do whatever is best for Andre's health. Vanita Nair for CBS News, New York.
And that'll wrap things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, including a story on how you can improve your online shopping skills, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Judson. And now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So Danielle, over the weekend, the men's and women's basketball teams were in action. Not quite the outcome we were looking for in the game, but still really hard fought.
That's right, Bailey. They were two very good games, and I'm sure on Saturday a lot of people were tuning into college football. However, on Troy's campus, it was all basketball, so let's get into a recap of the games.
Sounds good.
This weekend, the basketball teams got the chance to open up the conference schedule in the new Trojan Arena, but Western Kentucky topped the Trojans in two competitive, dramatic, and for Trojan fans, heartbreaking games. Despite having as large as a 13-point lead in the second half, the Trojans were unable to hold on to beat Western Kentucky, falling to 0-2 in the conference after a 75-71 loss.
It was a tough loss, a disappointing loss when you had control of the game and you come down and you make three almost unforced turnovers. Just really, I thought that probably cost us the game more than anything. But we played a very good game. Heck, we had the game pretty much in control of the game all the way to the last few minutes.
The Trojans were looking to beat Western Kentucky for the third time in a row after sweeping them last season, but Maestri knew that would be a tough task.
You know, they went to the NCAA tournament last year. We beat them twice. You know, to beat Western Kentucky 3 times in a row, you know, they're one of the few teams that charter a 50-seat plane for 12 guys. They're at another level in this league in basketball.
The Trojans have lost their first 2 conference games by a combined 6 points. In both games, Troy had a double-digit lead, but Maestri says the ability to finish games is something you can only learn one way.
I don't think you can learn any other way but winning, to be honest. You got to win those kind of games to understand how to finish the game. And we've had 2 in a row and we've lost the game, so we have not learned how to close the game out when you're out playing the other team.
Whatever it is, we need to find it. I mean, we've had 2 games right there in our hands and kind of had some not bonehead, just some bad plays down the stretch and weren't able to finish the game out.
The men will be back in action again in Trojan Arena this Saturday when they take on Utah State. That game is scheduled to begin at 7 o'clock. And just prior to the men's game on Saturday, the women also took the court facing the Hilltoppers. The end result was almost the same as the men's game, but the path to get there was a little different. Despite erasing a 14-point second-half deficit and leading with under a minute to go, the Trojans lost their 3rd straight game, falling to Western Kentucky 84-81.
Biggest job as a coaching staff is just to keep the morale up and the hope up. I mean, they're working harder and harder at practice. Like I said in the locker room, don't let this be the punch that keeps you down on the mat.
Troy shot 53% in the second half and was led by Ashley Beverly Kelly with 22 points. But in the final 5 minutes, Brittany McLeod turned it on, scoring 13 points, including the go-ahead three-pointer with 49 seconds to go.
Brittany McLeod didn't play well for us the whole game, but at the end she hit a big shot or two. I mean, their knees got more bent on defense. They got more determined, but the shots started falling. They started playing a little bit more mature basketball. In other words, instead of the first person who caught the ball didn't just drive, they would pass it around and get a person who was more open.
Rigby said one of the biggest challenges in her position is keeping her team motivated through these tough tests.
Just keep challenging them and letting them know that this is what life is like. You know, this is what life is like. You try real hard, you work hard, you want things to go your way, and they don't, and you just got to get up and fight back harder than the next guy is willing to fight for it. And hopefully that'll sink in, and hopefully that'll go over well. I'm still new to them, they're still new to me. We'll see how it works.
The women will be on the road tomorrow, taking on the Florida Gators of the SEC. The Trojans and the Gators will meet at 6 o'clock tomorrow night in Gainesville. The women's golf team has signed an additional player during the early signing period. Becca Homer is a native of Woodham, England, and signed a national letter of intent to begin playing as a Trojan in 2013. She currently holds a stroke average of 76. She's been successful in England, claiming the Woodham Club Championship in 3 consecutive years from 2008 to 2011. She also won the County Durham Junior Girls Tournament in 2011, making her one of the youngest ever to claim the title. So while the men's and women's basketball teams were unable to pick up wins, they were very hard-fought games, and hopefully they can have better luck. And the women, they'll be facing another tough test Tuesday night playing the Florida Gators, so best of luck to them.
Absolutely, best of luck to the women's team, and congratulations once again to the signee and the golf team.
That's right.
Thanks, Danielle. Thank you. And coming up on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look at Troy TrojanVision News.
But first, we've seen warmer temperatures this weekend and today. What can we expect for the next few days, Brittany?
Look for a slight change in the weather conditions. Stay tuned for your local weather up next.
The path of my life, the way it took me, there was detours and things that had to be done, but I never lost the passion. I decided to continue my education and decided to do it here at Troy. But I've had a great support system with my teachers and my advisors, and I'll be forever grateful to them for that.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education and a culture of caring. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
My name is Deborah, and I choose Troy every day.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Now Brittany Drawdy joins us for a look at weather.
So Brittany, we're just kicking off December, and it doesn't feel like December. It's actually pretty warm outside.
It is very warm. As you said, most people are running around in t-shirts and shorts and flip-flops. Not that
crazy.
Doesn't look like we're going to have a snow Christmas yet. But right now we can take a look at our current campus snapshot and see that current conditions, we're seeing those skies are still partly cloudy as we go throughout the night. Temperature is 75 degrees, dew point at 49 degrees, humidity at 41%. Barometer at 30.21 and steady, and winds coming from the south around 5 miles per hour. Today's stats, a high of 75, a low of 49, no rain, sunrise at 6:25 a.m. and a sunset at 4:39 p.m. Around the state, we're seeing 70-degree temperatures, which is crazy. It's the beginning of December, and it's 70 outside. 71 Mobile, 70 in Huntsville, 73 in Birmingham, 77 in Montgomery, Troy at 74, Phoenix City at 74, and Dothan at 73. Definitely this warm weather that we're not really used to seeing here in December, but it's settling over the state. Current temperatures for the southeast, Atlanta at 71, Columbia at 75. Seeing that warm weather to the southeast, if you're looking for cooler weather, it's not going to be here for a little while. It's definitely staying in for the week, settling in as we go throughout our work week. We're seeing the departure from normal. Today's highs, 14 degrees here in Troy, 14 degrees difference than what we're normally seeing at this time of year. Definitely warmer across 17, 24, even north of us. As we can see our current surface, there's a couple of low fronts out here, but as we look for us, we're not seeing much change. It's a high pressure system to the east. Same thing as we go in, not much activity going on. We see a front towards the northwest of us, but as we come to Alabama, not too much going on. But that should be changing next 48 hours. We should see a rain chance here coming in through Troy, that warmer weather. It is going to see that rain chances Tuesday, going to stay to the west of us slightly. As we move into Wednesday, definitely going to cover us for Wednesday. Dead day is our change of classes and we get a break, but many students are probably not going to be able to get out much because it looks like the rain forecast might be settling in for Wednesday. Thursday clears off and Friday stays away, clears out by the weekend. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear. We're going to have a few passing clouds as we go throughout the evening. A light breeze south at 3 miles per hour and seeing a low of only at 49. As we go into tomorrow, it's going to be a day a lot like today. Definitely sunshine outside, partly cloudy skies, intervals of that sun coming through, a lot like how we experienced all day today. Winds are light and variable coming from the south around 7 miles per hour and seeing a high at 76. We're definitely seeing 76 is going to be warm weather, cooler at night, but definitely going to be very warm as we go out throughout tomorrow. 4-day forecast, Tuesday seeing that high at 76 with partly cloudy skies, a low of 54 for the evening. Wednesday seeing those isolated thunderstorm chances are coming through for Wednesday, a high at 73. 49 for the low on Wednesday night. Thursday, we're going to see partly cloudy skies, a high of 73, a low at 49 coming in for Thursday evening. Friday, we're seeing partly cloudy skies and a high at 71 to wrap up Friday. So, Judson, our week looks pretty much like we're in summer again. It definitely doesn't look like we're going to see that cooler December, Christmassy weather. Looks like it's going to be staying away and going to be actually really nice sunshiny weather outside.
I mean, those are pleasant temperatures. That's, sort of like household temperatures, but it's just still a little weird that we're in December and it feels like that outside. So, I don't know. Definitely
a big change, but hopefully as we go throughout this week, exam week, people are going home for school, maybe it'll cool off and Christmas weather will come visit us early.
Yeah, let's hope so. All right, thanks, Brittany.
Thanks, Brittany.